All right, we just wrapped up the Sunday slate of games in week 10 of the NFL. I can't believe it. We're already into November. The playoff picture starting to take shape, but I'm going to go through, give you my quick reactions from everything I saw here on Sunday. Okay, Guten Morgen from Germany as the Panthers took down the Giants in Munich 20-17 in overtime. And man, I didn't watch this whole game, and thank God. This was an unwatchable football game. Two horrendous football teams, and they played like they were horrendous. Now, Chuba Hubbard, 28 carries, a $153, and a touchdown, earned every single cent of that new contract he just signed. But my God, Daniel Jones is just like the worst quarterback in the league. Another 2 interceptions is like year 6 for Daniel Jones, year 7. I mean, what are we going on at this point? Bryce Young didn't look horrible. Offense was better. Defense much better, obviously, but Daniel Jones. Tyrone Tracy with 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown. My man Malik Neighbors can't get the rock. 6 catches, 50 yards. This is just awful. Giants fumble on the first play of overtime. Poor Tyrone Tracy. That's a long flight back from Germany. But the Giants, you're going to be able to draft a quarterback now, not winning any games. You're sitting at 2-8. I'd be happy if I'm a Giants fan. Brian Daboll's getting fired. All is good in the world in New York. And Carolina, back-to-back wins. Let's go. All right, the Patriots dismantle the Chicago Bears. I mean, just an awful offensive showing again from the Bears. Caleb Williams, only 120 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. I think he was sacked 9 times for 51 yards. They couldn't run the ball at all. And this has been a Patriots defense that's been a sieve this year. They've been terrible. Drake May, touchdown and a pick, 184 yards. Had 24 on the ground, cut back on that running, I could see. But this was just ugly, bad football, punts galore. And the Patriots did just enough to take care of business. I mean, where's my man DJ Moore? Nowhere to be found. 3 receptions, 24 yards. What is going on with this team? Matt Eberflus is getting fired, Chicago. So Caleb Williams, your generational quarterback talent, on his second head coach 2 years into the league. Only the Bears can screw this thing up. New England, got to be happy, got to be positive. You don't necessarily want a great draft. You don't need a great draft pick. You got your quarterback. So 3-7, nothing bad, man. You're going to be picking in the top 5 still, maybe outside the top 5. You're still going to get a good player. All around, these are positive signs for a Patriots team that just looks so dead with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Okay, Joe Flacco was cooking for the Colts today against the Bills, but it sure as shit wasn't good, and it wasn't some Buffalo wings. Joe Flacco, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, threw a pick 6 on the first drive. It may have been the first pass of the game. I'm not quite sure, but Josh Allen, no touchdowns, 2 picks. This is now 3 straight weeks with interceptions for Josh Allen. He was doing great. Now, racking up those picks again, but the Bills still took care of business. James Cook, a nice day on the ground, 80 yards and a touchdown. It's just really the culture limited offensively. Defense isn't great. Jonathan Taylor, another 100-yard game. This is the best part of this team. If Joe Flacco's not the answer, Anthony Richardson's not the answer, I don't know what the answer is in Indianapolis, but they got a massive quarterback problem. Defense really isn't good either. They got to live off the turnovers, which is, it's nice. If you can force turnovers, you can keep yourself in these games. But finally, a non-1-score game that the Colts lose. Colts have been just losing 1-score games all season long. Still hanging around, only 4-6, but they kind of feel dead. Huge matchup for the Bills next week, playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, they take down the Denver Broncos 16-14, and it wasn't pretty, but they got it done blocking a 35-yard field goal from Will Lutz as the clock expired to preserve the lead. Only Kansas City can find ways to win this game. Now, Kansas City said they saw something earlier in the game on those extra points that set up to that block. They had like 3 guys that could have blocked that kick. And Mahomes really had a pretty good day. I mean, 266, touchdown, no picks. They really couldn't get anything going on the ground against this Broncos defense. And Denver's defense, a much big bounce back than what they had after the Ravens game. They were horrible against Baltimore in that second half and really the end of the first half. But much better job against Kansas City. Travis Kelce gotten the touchdown, tied for the most touchdowns in franchise history now. DeAndre Hopkins, another solid day. But with Kansas City can't getting the run game going, the offense does get bogged down. It does struggle. And the Kansas City defense, good enough. I mean, the Broncos offense isn't a juggernaut. Bo Nix, much better than I thought he was going to look. 2 touchdowns, over 200 yards passing, just not quite enough. And, Courtland Sutton still doesn't get enough love, I don't think. Another 70 yards and a touchdown. He's been just so solid for this team. But Chiefs fans feeling good. Screw Sean Payton. Nice win for the Chiefs. 9-0 still. They're only undefeated team remaining now. And the Chiefs clinch a playoff spot at 10 wins. 10 wins is getting you in the playoffs in the AFC. Broncos down to 5-5. Let's see if they can sputter something up. Like I said, the Broncos were frauds, and they're looking pretty fraudy right now, but they played much better this week than they did last week. Okay, maybe the ugliest and most bizarre game of the day. My Vikings taking down the Jaguars 12-7. Vikings had over 400 yards of offense, like 42 minutes of time of possession. They dominated in all the statistical categories. Sam Darnold, 3 interceptions, all in the red zone, all targeting Justin Jefferson. That was bad. I mean, my man must have dropped acid before the game because I don't know what he was looking at. Solid day on the ground from Aaron Jones again. All 4 field goals coming from newly signed kicker John Parker Romo. That's unbelievable. The guy gets signed this week, scores all their points. Mac Jones it up, though. 2 interceptions and a fumble their last 3 drives of the game. Jaguars had a chance to win this game multiple times. Vikings offense couldn't quite put it away, and they jagged it up in the end. And then, you get a stupid penalty when you get a stop. Had a chance late to get the ball back, but Travis Etienne, nothing on the ground. Tank Bigsby got hurt early in this game. Evan Ingram, really the only thing. And then Brian Thomas Jr., 2 catches for 12 yards, and he was like shut out until the 4th quarter. So just another confusing, weird game. I mean, the numbers are just jarring how much Minnesota, they should have won this game by 4 touchdowns, but it is what it is. Vikings staying alive at 7-2, trying to keep pace with the Detroit Lions. All right, new coach theory in full effect. The Saints bring in a new interim head coach, the Rizzler over here, and they take down division foes Atlanta 20-17. Really the big story of this is Younghoe Koo, man. Mr. Money, automatic from field goal kicker, missed 3 field goals today. Derek Carr, much better, 2 touchdowns. Had a couple of long ones to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a 67-yarder. The other one was a long one. 3 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. I mean, then everybody else just did kind of nothing. Alvin Kamara, 55 on the ground. Bijan, monster day. I shouldn't say monster day. Really good day for Bijan. 20 carries, a buck 16, and 2 tutties. Kirk Cousins, 1 pick, 300 yards. But, Kirk Cousins, check down master, has a Kirk Cousins type play to end this game. Drake London, another great day, 97 yards. We had more Kyle Pitts sightings. Kyle Pitts, the house cat, the enigma that remains to me. But the Falcons 6-4. It's okay because the division really isn't that good. Tampa Bay fell again today, so they're pretty much clear. They're going to be hosting a playoff game, but there are issues with this Falcons team. It just feels like kind of they feel really untidy in certain crucial situations. 23-38 for Kirk, and you had 20 carries for 116. Just a bizarre loss for the Falcons. All right, Tampa Bay, like I said, dropped another one, but they play everybody hard. They play everybody tight. You're missing your 2 best receivers, and it's really kind of hurting the offense. Baker Mayfield, only 116 yards, but they've been running the ball pretty effectively. 73 from Bucky Irving, another 31 from Rachaad White, so 110 yards on the ground with 27 carries. And then Brock Purdy, man, 353, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Christian McCaffrey did nothing. They couldn't get any sort of ground game going. I mean, Mason had 1 carry. Debo had 3 carries. Purdy's using his legs, but only 17 yards. Jawan Jennings leading the receivers. And shout out to Ricky Pearsall. First career NFL touchdown. My man still has the holes in his chest, and it was a nice long one for them. So really, really interesting, gritty, ugly game. Tampa Bay did all they could, but San Francisco gets a win, 5-4, right back in the mix of it. And it kind of sucks because I think Tampa Bay would be a real threat to win this division if it weren't for the losses of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, because they just there is no receiving option out there. They can focus on K. Dot at tight end, and it's just really, really hard to see any sort of way with these cast of characters at the playmaker position that Tampa Bay can swing this thing back around. Okay, let Russell keep cooking. Russell Wilson, 3-0 as the Steelers quarterback, and they take down the Commanders 28-27 in a really fun, really bonkers, bizarre games. We got fake punts that should have been caught, getting incomplete. We're forcing muff punts, recoveries. This game was crazy, had everything going for it. Jane Daniels, 17-34, 202 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Way too much. They could not get a running game going, and that's been the thing with Washington. Eckler does have 2 touchdowns, and McNichols adds another, but no Brian Robinson, and this team has really struggled to get consistent run games going, and, Pittsburgh's a great defense on top of it, so they were really up against it. Scary Terry, over 100 yards, but other than that, Noah Brown, 33, Zach Ertz, 4 for 31. Just really nothing going back and forth, and the Commanders' defense, we're holding their own. I mean, the Commanders were up in this game, and the late touchdown to newly acquired Mike Williams 1 catch, 32 yards, and the touchdowns. Pair that with Pickens, who had an awesome touchdown catch. But this is exactly how the Pittsburgh Steelers want to play. They are not losing many games if they get to this 28 number. You get to 28, you're probably winning a lot of games with this defense. You get to 24 even, you're probably in really good shape. So really nice win for the Steelers coming off the bye. Washington up against it now. Got a short week playing division foes, Philadelphia, but still nothing to hang your head on. This was a really tough, good team matchup. I think both these teams are going to be in the playoffs. All right, Chargers take care of the Titans. Another kind of ugly, weird game. Herbert, efficient today. 14 for 18, 164 and a touchdown. Gus Edwards back into the lineup, 55 yards and then 50 yards for J.K. Dobbins. Cut into my man's fantasy carries there. Herbert had a couple of nice runs as per usual. But Tennessee, Will Levis, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. It was a late touchdown. This game was 27-10, and it was pretty much over. I think they scored with like under a minute to go, Tennessee. So a garbage touchdown there for them, but they could get nothing on the ground. Tony Pollard couldn't do anything. Tajay Spears couldn't do anything. This Chargers defense is nasty. They haven't given up over 21 points this season, and maybe even less than that, maybe over 20. I don't know if they've given up, but they've been a lights out unit, and it just kind of all works. I mean, Quentin Johnson caught another touchdown, the bust of bust, 2 catches and a touchdown. This is just a cohesive football team. They haven't played the best teams, but they're winning the games. I mean, even as we go on week after week, that Cardinal loss, which was bizarre, is not a bad loss now. The Cardinals are actually cooking. So Chargers at 6-3, probably a long shot for the division, but in really, really good shape to lock up a wild card spot in the AFC. Speaking of those Cardinals, dismantling the Aaron Rodgers Jets. I mean, this game was not close. Arizona was better. They were more physical. It was just gritty. Man, it was just a dominant performance from the Cardinals. And they haven't given up a touchdown now in 3 consecutive home games. That's like the longest streak in a century for this team. Kyler Murray, 266 and a touchdown, added 2 on the ground, 3 for 21, 2 touchdowns. James Conner, 33 and a touchdown. Trey Benson, the rookie, 62. This is a well-rounded football team. We even had Marvin Harrison Jr. get in the end zone. McBride with 71 yards and 80 yards receiving from Conner. This team is really humming right now. They're in first place in the NFC West, just like we all predicted. But Jonathan Gannon's doing a great job. It's a unique offensive scheme. It's a really unique defensive setup. And the Jets are just like, I feel bad for my Jets fans. I know so many Jet fans. It's just the season from hell. Rodgers looks old and washed. This is a lot more Big Ben than Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady spoiled everybody. Breece Hall doesn't get the touches when he needs to in the red zone. They can't run the football, and they can't play defense again. Who would have guessed? You fire a defensive head coach, and you can't play defense anymore because Ulbricht's busy being a head coach, and he can't pay attention to details on the defensive side. This is going to be a burn-it-down project. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have any sort of future here. You're going to start paying all these young guys. It's going to get ugly in New York once again. Luckily for you, Jet fans, Woody Johnson may get a new job in the administration coming in, so we'll get his son to take over the ownership running, and the Jets might actually get better again. So I think once Woody Johnson's out of the picture, the Jets might be able to turn this thing around, but Jets bad. Cardinals pretty good. Okay, Eagles dismantle the Cowboys 34-6. This game was a little close early. Cowboys had their chances. It was 14-6. They were hanging around there, but Cooper Rush, awful. Just awful. The Cowboys had 5 turnovers today. It was just bad. We got interceptions. We got fumbles all over the place. It was bad. Cooper Rush, 2 fumbles and a pick. Zeke with a fumble. Jake Ferguson with a fumble. Just really tough sledding for them. Eagles, on the other hand, Jalen Hurts efficient, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Saquon, only 66 on the ground. I think they waved the white. I shouldn't say they took their victory early. They pulled the starters pretty much at the start of the 4th quarter. Philadelphia wasn't trying to get anybody hurt. They got a short week. They got the Commanders on Thursday. Dallas Cowboys, I'm glad you traded for Mingo. I mean, did he even get on did he even play? Did he even play? I don't think so. Give him a 4th round pick. Dak's out for the season. You're 3-6. Good job, Dallas. Jerry Jones, get his ass out of there. Cowboys are never going to be a serious franchise with Jerry Jones in charge. But the Eagles, looking really good. 7-2, could take a nice grip of first place in the NFC East against the Commanders on Thursday. And finally, the peak of unseriousness, the Houston Texans blowing a 16-point halftime lead, getting shut out as the Lions come all the way back, scoring 19 unanswered to win 26-23. And you're just starting to believe that it's the Lions season. They have 2 field goals go in that basically kiss the uprights. They don't get called for a pass interference. They could have let Houston run the clock out before attempting a game-winning field goal. Just, it seems to be going their way. Jared Goff, 5 interceptions from Jared Goff, and you still found a way to win this game on the road. Tough sledding ahead. CJ Stroud, a bad interception where they could have put this game away early in the third quarter. Just mistakes. Joe Mixon couldn't get anything going on the ground. 25 carries for 46 yards, 1.8 yards a carry. That's easily his worst performance of the season. And the Lions really couldn't get a whole lot of going on the ground either. 32 for 105, 3.3, below their average. But Montgomery swung the game, had some big plays in the passing game, as well as Jahmyr Gibbs. Amon-Ra, a crucial third down conversion to set up that game-winning field goal. Also added a touchdown, 7 straight for them. But gritty ass win for the Lions. And Houston, you're just an unserious football team right now. You're young. You're not ready for this. You're going to win that shit division, but Houston ain't there yet, man. There's no way you should have lost this game with 5 interceptions and a 16-point lead and get shut out in the second half with CJ Stroud. I know you got no receivers, but the play calling was bad. Everything was bad from Houston. So nice win for the Lions. Really bad loss for the Houston Texans. But that's going to do it for us today. Let me know what you guys thought. What were your takeaways from this Sunday? Be sure, if you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We got new sports content every single day. Be sure to check it out. We got the power rankings for week 11 dropping on Tuesday morning. If you haven't already, when you're watching this, check it out. Might already be out for you guys. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.